Yeah, how you all doing? I'd like to thank Josh for inviting me here to go rogue for a few words. I thought I'd do it here in my workshop because, let's face it, I spent half my life in here bringing chainsaws back to life. I even write out here because it's kind of like my space. I got Josh's questions here. So I'll give it a go. What is it about Western music that first drew you to it? Well, that goes right back to the beginning, obviously, like most of us, back to my childhood, really. My dad and my uncle too, they were great fans of Western music, which was pretty unusual for a kid growing up in the 70s. Country music was at a really good place then, but Western music wasn't so widely listened to, so I suppose I had the benefit of being indoctrinated at a young age. I can distinctly remember becoming musically aware, like you do as a child, and hearing Marty Robbins for the first time, the gunfighter ballads, and being just totally captivated by the whole thing. Really, it's like being listening to Technicolor music. You know, you get transported right into the centre of the song. You've got that unearthly beauty of the Glazer brothers' harmonies around Marty's vocal, and the whole thing topped off with Grady Martin's guitar weaving in and out. It's just a marvellous. And then of course, as I got older, got some money, started to build my own record collection, and then the doorway opened. Sons of the Pioneers and Gene Autry, etc., etc. Stan Jones, all those people, and Western music, it just enthralled me. Still does, always has done. But that was my introduction to it, really. Question 2. How important is the storytelling aspect of country music, and do I think it's being lost in modern times? Well, of course, the storytelling aspect of country, western, whatever, is of paramount importance, and as to whether or not it's being lost outside the mainstream, definitely not. When you take the time to seek out the wealth of songwriting talent that exists outside the mainstream, it is vast, and we all know that. You can immediately see that it's very much alive. As again, as anyone that comes to this page is going to know that. But as far as the Nashville conveyor belt is concerned, then I think that probably the storytelling art has been cast out many moons ago from there, and replaced by the formula. And by the way, the formula is not a myth, it is real. I can vouch for that. I spent some time in Nashville some years ago, and I was told in no uncertain terms, if you don't adhere to the formula, then you don't get a cut, as they say there. But anyway, that's so. Yes, the storytelling art is well and truly alive outside of the mainstream of country music, but we all know that, I'm sure. Number 3. If you could play one Western song to someone that had never heard of the style before, what would you play and why? That's brilliant. Brilliant question. Well, you know, there's so many, but I would say it would have to be Way Out There by the Sons of the Pioneers, the 1934 version, that is. because there's several. But I think that song encompasses the whole craft of Western music. It's got the writing brilliance of Bob Nolan, where he melds the lyrics, the melody together so perfectly, and it reflects the landscape, which Western music must do. All those unique chord progressions, which were really are the hallmark of Western music. They're all there, and they're all there in that one song. I think that would be a great track to play someone who'd not heard of the genre before or wanted a classic example of it. So Way Out There by the Sons of the Pioneers would be my choice for that question. Question 4. Do you feel that country and Western music is well represented in the UK? Ooh. Crikey. Right, well, that's... how do I answer that? Well, is everyone... Again, everyone that comes here on this page to seek out, shall we say, the real deal, they know country music is well represented in the UK. There's a host of superb artists writing and recording superb work, and along with that you've got a fabulous, brilliant network of independent radio stations, social media pages, people working their butts off to try and promote new and exciting releases from around the globe that come underneath the country music umbrella, which includes all of us, I suppose. So in that respect, it's well represented. The problem arises when you talk to outside of those of us who are probably a bit more enlightened, that talk about the mainstream in the UK. And the problem we've got here is that the genre is entirely represented by one man and one radio show per week. And I'm not going to mention his name because you all know what I mean. And whenever country music is discussed in the mainstream media, whenever they want, who is their go-to person for their opinion or their insight into country music, and that's the man they choose, which is, of course, completely wrong and unjust, because as we all know, there are so many fabulous radio stations doing their utmost here to promote the real thing, and if it weren't for them, what would be the point of people like me making records? We all know, let's not hide the fact, it costs what it costs us. We make an album so we can make another. We don't make out of it. It's purely and simply to show our craft to those that want to hear it. We're never going to get the support of the mainstream. We know that. We'd have given up a long time ago. But the fact of the matter is, I do think it's grossly unfair that one man and one show should represent the whole genre to the outside world, if you know what I mean. So, and then, I mean, you've got the British country scene, which is a completely law unto itself. It's a complete enigma to me. I don't really understand it at all. So I'm not even going to go there. Talk to Ian Cowford. He's the man to talk to about the British country scene. His father was part of it in the beginning when it was a completely different place to be. So I'm not going to go there. I'll leave it to someone who's more versed and experienced in that area. And then I suppose, you know, at the end of it all, there's people like us here. We're kind of like the of no fixed abode, of the roots country, you know, again, umbrella underneath it. That's where we are, and although I'm pretty certain that the roots country scene is evolving and it's growing, given time to develop, it's going to hopefully give us all a fairer platform to find a home on, and you know, able to get gigs at decent festivals instead of those gigs all being, I suppose, the territory of those who are promoted on the one show, shall we say? So that's my take on that one. Finally, question 5: if I could go fishing with any artist from history, modern times to now, who would I choose and why? Well, who else could I choose other than Mr. Marty David Robinson? I mean, there's so many questions I'd like to ask Marty. I'm pretty sure we'd have a bloody good fishing trip together. But that's who I'd choose anyway. But I think that's me done then. So listen guys, thanks for having me on the page. Josh, thank you very much for everything you're doing, all of you here. It's marvellous, because as I say, without you, there would be no point in people like me doing what we do. So all the best, cheers, see you again.